Okay, so welcome to another episode of Landed for Success. So once again today, I am extremely excited to share with you how to build a profitable speaking career. Let me ask you this: if you could earn a significant income, or if you could earn a six-plus figure income year after year in your speaking career. Is this something that would be of interest to you? Let me know in the comment below. Type interest or interested. Okay. Now, before we get started, once again, Land for Success Untold Stories Volume 3 is now available for purchase on Amazon. So, volumes 1, 2, and 3 are now all bestsellers available, featuring stories, amazing stories of men and women from every walk of life and their short stories of inspiration on the struggles that they went through and how they were able to survive and thrive. And I believe that their stories will help you to land for success as well. And so, in terms of landing for success, one of the things that I love best about speaking is the fact that you can create influence, income, and impact. And from my experience of working with authors and coaches and speakers since 2010, one of my passion is to break the myths of the fact that you have to be a superstar to make money in speaking. And the answer is no. You don't have to be a superstar to start, because we all start from somewhere. Would you guys agree with that? And my mentor once said, Gordon, every somebody was once a nobody. And I said, hey, mentor, I want to be a nobody. So one day I could be a somebody. And in the speaking world, I've also seen another myth that you have to spend thousands and tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars to get certificates from and attend courses and workshops from some of the best in the industry. And again, I want to break that myth. You don't have to do that, because the individual I'm going to introduce to you right now has become a very good friend of mine. This individual started from scratch with no experience and has been able to carve out a six-plus figure income in his first year in his own speaking career, and has now gone on to speak all around the world and helping other people to do the same. So please help me to welcome Mr. Raza Aziz.
Thanks, Gordon. It's good to be here again. Another weekly session. I love these little increments of little speaker training that we are doing.
Well, thank you. I know you're extremely busy. You're taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us here, and for the folks who are watching, and on Saturday, September 23rd, that's only 10 days away, you guys.
Wow.
If what you hear from Raza's training today inspires and motivates you to think, man, I want to become a six-plus figure income coach, speaker, then I encourage you to buy a plane ticket today, whether it's a plane ticket, whether you're going to walk, run, jump. I don't know. It's just like Napoleon Hill talks about what's the name of the guy there? Edwin C. Barnes, right? Who had a red hot burning desire. He didn't have money to buy a train ticket. He didn't know how to get there, but his hot red burning desire was, I want to meet Edwin C. Barnes. And one day I want to be in business partnership with them. And maybe that's you. You're thinking, I want to learn how to travel the world, sell millions of dollars in front of live audiences, and I want to meet Raza. Come into Toronto and meet him live and in person on Saturday, September 23rd. Anyways, I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to turn this over to you, because I know you have an incredible topic today, the two biggest mistakes most speakers make and how to avoid them. So go ahead, my friend.
Yeah, this came out of we've been doing these sessions over the past few weeks, and somebody sent me a message and talked about, is like, Raza, how were you able to sell so much? I have been speaking for so long, and I have a hard time selling anything. And whether it's like a $500 offer or $1,000 offer or 2,000, it doesn't really matter. And I thought that that we shift this training a little bit, and not only, of course, I'll answer that gentleman's question, but also many of you who are looking to add speaking as part of your marketing strategy, so that you can create more influence in your community, so that you can generate more leads, so that you can land more clients easily and effortlessly, see, well, this is and there are these are the two mistakes that I want you to avoid. And a lot of people, a lot of speakers make this mistake. Now, it's not like they're not intending to make this mistake, but that's just sometimes people don't understand the dynamic of professional speaker, or a speaker who actually creates influence, generates leads, and sells. And if that's something that you want to do, I want to make sure that I highlight two things for you that you want to avoid. Okay. So so here's what I will say. Number one is, a lot of times you see people say it's like, oh, you know what? I have no issue speaking. You can put me in front of a camera and I can keep talking. You can put me in front of an audience. I have no hesitation speaking, right? But then they don't end up creating influence, generating leads, or creating sales. Why is that? There are so many people who know how to speak, like they have no hesitation being in front of a crowd, but yet they're not landing these three things: creating influence, generating leads, and landing clients. Why is that? Okay. So there are two types of people. Number one is what I call, for lack of a better term, they're wingers. I just call it wingers. But basically, these people are the ones that are confident. They have the confidence and the charisma and all of that stuff, and they can get in front of a crowd and they can talk. They have a good voice. They can project their voice. All of that stuff is fine. But what happens with them is, because of that confidence and because they don't have any kind of structure, they just start talking, and they just pick a story here, and the story may or may not be relevant to what they are looking to accomplish. And they might be talking about, let's say, 3 points or something like that, but they get derailed off of, they start with point number one, then they jump to point number three, and then they're talking about something else, and all of a sudden they're like, oh my gosh, I'm running out of time, and they did not necessarily accomplish their goal. Remember what I said was it last week or the week before that? I said being a speaker is not for your ego. It is to figure out a way for you to serve many people, right? It's getting in front of people so that you can impact them, you can influence them for the better, you can generate from your audiences, generate leads for people who are interested in what you offer, and potentially land clients as well. Okay, so you want to make sure that you are not a winger. This is why structure of your talk is so important, so you're not just winging it. Right? So that's my technical term. I'm going to call it wingers. Okay. So now, what is the other mistake that speakers do? So the one is they're they re- so one that I talked about right now, they rely on their confidence and charisma, and they've got a good voice and they can project it, all of that stuff. Everything is great, but they don't have a structure, and they lose out on influence, leads, and sales. Okay. The other side of things is, okay, the second mistake that most speakers make is they become teachers. Right? So they become teachers. So we've got ringers and we've got teachers on the other side. Now, what's the challenge with the teachers? Now, teachers have a very servant heart, and they really want to impact their audience. So what they do, the best way they know how to impact their audience is by dumping a whole bunch of teaching on them. If they have 15 minutes or if they have 30 minutes, they are going to do teaching like no tomorrow, right? Listen, I'm not saying that there's something wrong with the teaching, but when you bombard in an audience with massive amount of teaching with your intention to be a servant leader for them, you're throwing them, and you activate a part of the brain where your audience is just stunned, and they are going to be like, oh, that was amazing, that was a lot of information, right? I got to digest this information before I do anything else. I got to digest this information before I do anything else. Do you see the challenge there? This is an audience that will not take action. This is an audience that the right people will not become your leads and may not move forward with you in whatever it is that you're promoting and selling. A lot of the teachers that a lot of the teacher mindset speakers that I've seen, they do massive amount of teaching, and in the end, instead of making a call to action and having people work closely with them, they say, okay, thank you very much, I hope you learned a lot and everything like that. Hey, I'll be at the side of the room or at the back of the room. If you'd like to learn more, come on down. No. Right? I always look at it this way, right? Like, imagine if in a dating scenario, and you're meeting the partner you're meeting, and you're going to meet with them, and after talking to them and everything like that, you let them know, it's like, hey, listen, if you'd like to learn more, come, we'll meet again. Learn more is not a call to action. so, so we're not about, see, let me say this to you. And let's say, for example, Gordon and I have become good friends over time, and Gordon has decades of experience in certain industries and events than me. And if Gordon wanted to teach me something, and if I sat down with him for like an hour, can he teach me decades of stuff in that hour? Can you, Gordon? Yeah, can you teach me decades of stuff in 1 hour? Right?
Yeah. No.
It's just
Right.
not possible. If I am, if I just spoke to a real estate agent who, in his first 2 years of business, of doing real estate, has sold just over $65 million worth of real estate, right? In 2 years, first years, right? That's amazing. That is amazing. Now, if I was to sit down with him, because I plan to go see him, and if I was to sit down with him at a coffee shop, I'm like, dude, listen, teach me everything that you know. And in 1 hour, he teaches me this. You got to do this, and you got to do this, and everything. And then I walk away. Can he make me a successful real estate agent in 1 hour? Right. And for the teachers, that's my advice, that you don't want to mislead your audience in the name of just service by dumping a whole bunch of teaching on them and just assume that they now know whatever it is that they need to know. So what is the solution to this? You can't be a winger. You can't be a teacher. And by the way, both of these types of speakers, the wingers and the teachers, there are two things that they are going to hear from the crowd. Okay? Number one, they are going to hear that, oh my gosh, you're an amazing speaker, and you give so much, and you do so much, and you're amazing, and all of that stuff. And the second thing that they're going to hear is a lot of applause, right? And everything. But what they will not have is influence, leads, and clients. So this is one of the things that is overlooked. And this is something that my mentor taught me way earlier on. And he said to me, he's like, don't get caught up in all the hype, and you're going to hear a lot of applause, and people are going to come up to you and say, like, oh my gosh, Raza, this is the best speaker. You're an amazing speaker. I've never heard of a speaker like you. Right? He's like, ultimately, you are going to speak, and your objective is to influence that audience. Your objective is to generate the leads that you are going to generate for your business. Your objective is to land the right clients so that your business can thrive, so that you can feed your family, all of that stuff. It's not just to support your ego. And I hope this is making some sense to you so far,
Yeah.
right? Two types. Now, both of these speakers, Gordon, what they need is structure. Now, I know I've had to work with the wingers and the teachers.
Yes.
The wingers are like, you got to be kidding me. You can't put me in a
Yes.
container.
Well, I love that, Raza, because I was a winger,
Yeah.
right? I was a winger. I'm not very organized. I had to learn to be organized. People think I'm structured, but I had to learn. So I would get up there and wing it. And what you said is so true, because again, since 2010, I've been working with authors, coaches, and speakers. And there are individuals that, man, I was I did an amazing presentation. Some people even cried, right? That I was they loved my presentation. Some people gave me a standing ovation. It's like exactly what you said, right?
Yeah.
Hey, welcome, Nesrat. See how I wing? I'm distracted. Welcome, Shopi. Dr. Shopi. But nobody bought anything from me. So thank you for sharing that. I'd love to hear
Yeah.
your next part on how to avoid that.
Yeah. So this is why structure is extremely important. That is why there are components to your talk that need to be covered. What needs to happen at the beginning, what needs to happen second, what needs to happen third and fourth, and ultimately, when is it that you need to create the call to action? What kind of call to action? What are the things that you want to teach your audience? And by the way, please don't get me wrong. When I'm in front of my audience, and you'll notice that even on September 23rd, I mean, I'm going to do an entire teaching. I mean, you are going to take away the massive amount of pieces that you need in order to include marketing as part of your business strategy. And a lot of you coaches, consultants, you're going to use that day, September 23rd, as a launch pad to launch your speaking business as well. So it's not to say that you're not teaching anything. And by the way, when I say speaking, yes, of course, I'm talking about platform speaking and talking about being on stage, doing workshops and seminars. But don't get me wrong, speaking is one of the skills that is going to definitely help you when you do videos, right? When you're doing a video talk, when you're doing a 10-minute video on social media, when you're doing an ad, for example, when you're doing all of this stuff, your speaking is what's coming into play. Is your Because ultimately, what is the goal? What is the goal of doing an ad? What is the goal of doing a social media video? What is the goal of doing, speaking on a platform, on a stage, doing your seminar, doing your workshop? Is ultimately to build influence, to generate leads, and to land clients. So if those are the goal, then communication and speaking training is definitely going to be an asset to you. A lot of people sometimes ask me, is like, Raza, how is your video so structured? Like you hit all the points. It's because I'm using the same structure that I use for like a 1 hour talk, and I'm using it on social media, right? How are you so good at videos? Well, I mean, this is a trained thing. I wasn't just born and all of a sudden I knew how to make videos. This is a trained skill, right? So what I'm really trying to establish over here is that if you seriously start developing yourself as a speaker, you are going to notice that not only your personal interactions are going to be much more profound and powerful, but you're also going to start speaking in front of an audience, and you're going to create more influence. You're going to start generating more leads. When you go to networking events, man, and Gordon can definitely speak more about this, but there is just in Toronto alone. I mean, many countries and many cities out there. There are so many events, networking events locally that are looking for speakers, and
Yes.
they just don't have enough speakers. And you know why they don't have speakers? Is because speakers don't pick up the phone and say, "Hey, I'm a speaker and this is how I can help your audience."
Wow. I
Right?
love that. I didn't mean to
Yeah, yeah.
cut you off there for a second. I'm glad you said that because, Napoleon Hill talks about 3 feet from gold. And we all know the story of, the guys who quit when they were like literally 3 feet away from striking gold.
Mhm.
Here in Toronto or in our own backyard, whatever city or town you're in, there are opportunities to speak and make money. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And that's what I'm saying, that, a lot of times, people say it's like, "Oh, Raza, I don't have anything to sell." Well, if you're in business, believe me, there are stuff. You're going to talk to me like for 5, 10 minutes, and you're going to have burst of ideas, and we're going to try, I can map it out and everything like that. As a matter of fact, I know we had to talk about numbers in business, and I just wanted to kind of give you a glimpse of what a speaking business could look like. in your business. And we're going to do that next week. Okay. Next week is going to be our last session of this segment that we're doing, Speaking for Profits. And I'm going to talk about the business around speaking, because I'll tell you, I have used the speaking platform not only to represent great products and offers from out there. By the way, people are going to, when you start speaking, people are going to come to you and want you to represent them, represent their offers and their high ticket offers on stages around the world. I mean, imagine, I mean, to me, I was like, oh man, that was a dream life. Like, I would travel, I would, I would have a car show up in front of my house, limo, it's paid for, right? And I would go there, go, it would take me to the airport. And at the airport, I love hitting Starbucks at the airport, or eating at the airport. I ate so well, like I ate healthy, and all that food is paid for. And then of course my Uber, comes, picks me up, or my car comes, picks me up at whatever city I land in, and that is paid for. I get taken to hotels like Marriott and Sheraton and whatever else you name it, and my room is paid for, right? My food is paid for, my accommodation is paid for, and I'm going to this room where 100, 200 people are going to show up. I didn't pay for that room. I basically show up and I tap into the one skill that I mastered, and that is speaking, right? And I come and I do my thing, and I sell my offers, I promote whatever it is that I'm representing there, and then back to the room, and I fly back. And lo and behold, from Friday to Sunday, my work week is done. And I come back home and I'm just with my family.
Wow, what an incredible lifestyle. You
Amazing.
do all that, and then you're now home with your family. And the
Yeah.
one thing I appreciate you is you're such an incredible family man as well, and I see that, right? So that's
Well,
amazing.
I mean, that's the point, right? And my daughter is 14 years old now, and since she was born, I have engineered a life that I'm always around her. So
Yeah,
I did not miss her first step. I was right there. When her first tooth came out, I was there. When her first tooth fell off, I was there. I have
wow.
been there in every moment, and to me, that is important. That is engineered. So I'm always looking for ideas to be efficient in our business. And this is why I'm so passionate about, speaking, because this is a skill that can translate into multiple different things. I built in 2020, I built an affiliate business. I use speaking as a platform for that. I use speaking on social media as a platform for that. I've had the opportunity to represent amazing offers, and this teaching that I gave you today, that you don't want to be a winger, you don't want to be a full-on teacher, you want to have a blend of two. And no, sorry, no, delete that. You don't want to have a blend of two. You don't want to be a winger and a teacher. No, you want to have a structure to your talk. And that structure will allow you to know when you're going to tell a story, when you're going to tell a joke, why you're telling a joke, what's the point of the story. I love what Les Brown said once. He's like, every story has a point, and every point has a story, right? And to me, I've taken that. My mentor had talked about the value of humor. I'm not a humorous person per se. Like, generally, like, personality wise, I'm not like a hilarious person. But when I do my talks, I have to incorporate humor in certain ways. Sometimes it's telling a joke, sure, but sometimes it's about, maybe I'll just play a 20-second video, which is humorous, right? So it's not like I have to make people laugh all the time by telling a joke. I could leverage tools and resources. And I'm going to talk about all of that on September 23rd. Hope this was of value to you. I see a few of you. I see the chat box over here. Hey, Susie, how's it going? Dennis, good to have you here, my friend. Nusrat is here as well. This is so great. But that's, a lot of you know me from, some of you know me from the speaker world, some of you know me from the author and coaching world, some of you know me from the affiliate business world, some of you know me while I have been on stage representing somebody else's offer, right? So, and some of you know me when I first started out and I started taking my coaching program and using speaking as a platform. Um, you know what, Gordon? I recently came across a video. This video I think I made in 2020 or 2019, and I was giving a tour of the first spot I ever did my speaking on. It was
Wow.
here in Richmond Hill, and I it was a restaurant, and
Yes.
the restaurant on the side they have a room,
Yes.
and I had made an agreement with them that restaurant basically said we won't charge you for the room, but your guests, as long as they order food and drinks and stuff like that, your room is free. I'm like, bonus, right?
Wow.
And that is where I made my first sale ever, right?
Incredible.
And that restaurant. So maybe I'll share that a clip of that video on September 23rd on stage as well.
That
Oh,
would be so amazing. And today, some of us, myself, some of your friends, some of your clients, we see the Raza Aziz that's on a stage with Anthony Robbins, right? The number one motivational speaker in the world, Les Brown. Like that's what and we forget. We forget, like, when you first started,
yeah.
and people say you're just lucky.
Hmm.
And I hope some of the folks that are watching, this is the reason why we have Mr. Rasa Sees at our September 23rd Land for Success Business Expo. Because for me, my passion is, I don't know what it is, but I just want to help people. You guys ever met someone they just want to help people? And personal development, personal growth, the speaking world, that's my passion. And I have too many friends that have spent thousands, tens of thousands and more,
Hundreds of thousands.
hundreds of thousands, and they're still getting coaching certificates,
Yeah.
and they're still getting, like you said, people cheering and clapping for them on stage, but they're broke, busted, and disgusted. So I want to stop that cycle. So for those of you who are coaches and speakers, and you truly want to build a six-figure income, man, I want a front row seat. I'm going to have my VIP ticket. I'm going to rub shoulders with some of the other, and you've already met some of them. We have individuals that'll be in the VIP seating that have built multi-million-dollar businesses. Some of them have companies that are now valued at $1 billion. They get to rub shoulders with them, but the VIP lunch, I want to be sitting with you at the VIP lunch and spending more time with you. So if anybody's watching you thinking, I want to come and not only learn your template, but I want to rub shoulders with, it's all about having an access, you guys, right? So anyways, thank you. Thank you. Didn't want to jump in, but I wanted to share that thought of why I'm excited about having you there on the
Yeah.
23rd.
And Gordon, you were talking about, your passion. I mean, you're such a huge enabler,
Mhm.
and that's who you are. I mean, you've always come to me. It's like, Raza, what is it that you want to do? How can I be of help and everything like that? And you take ideas and you enable them
Yes.
through your enthusiasm, your connections, your resources, your energy. And I think that's and like even getting around you and learning from you.
Mm.
As a matter of fact, those people who are moving forward are going to be working closely with me in the speaking arena. I mean, I'm bringing you with me. I mean, you have huge
Mm.
amount of experience in filling rooms and putting audiences together. That's a part of the speaking business as well. Sometimes people feel like they need to do it themselves, that they need
Yeah.
to fill the rooms. It's like, who is going to come to my room? It's like, don't worry about that.
Right.
You got people who are masters of putting rooms together. I was just, I think it was a couple of years ago, there was a local event. I think it was Action Think Tank
Yes. Yes.
over here that invited me to speak and all of that stuff. Once you start building your skill and you raising your level of confidence, and you're not a winger and you're not a massive amount of teacher, you know how to lead audiences, how to move their minds towards taking action. It's a game changer, because now
Mm.
then all of a sudden you're going to start seeing opportunities for you to speak, whether
Yes.
you have your own products, whether you're promoting somebody else's product, whether you're building an affiliate business, a real estate business, an insurance business, doesn't matter. You are
Mm.
going to start finding opportunities to speak, and I want to make sure that you're prepared for those opportunities, and that's what we're going to talk about on September
Yeah.
23rd.
And those opportunities are available, have right now for our Land for Success members. We have folks, members in Singapore right now that are saying, "Do you guys have any members who want to come and speak?" I think it's in October. There's going to be 1,000 people in that room. We
Whew.
have Dr. Dana Austin, who is the president of the Atlanta Chamber of Commerce. She's a member of Atlanta for Success. She's asking, can we send some people who may want to go and speak in Atlanta? Anybody want to speak in Atlanta or Singapore?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Right? We got Dr. Gilly. Their company is valued at almost $1 billion now. And they're saying, hey, would somebody like to come and speak in Hollywood? So opportunities are there. The thing is, how do you take advantage of those opportunities? And that's why I'm so glad you're here, because
Yeah.
folks who are watching, not only are you going to get an opportunity to learn from Raza on Saturday, for some of you who would like to take the opportunity, that next step, and work with them, maybe get him to be your coach or your mentor. I like the word mentorship. It's all about
It's
mentorship.
really, I mean, that's how I've learned
Yeah.
things, right? Like I've always learned under the guidance of a mentor. Um, there's there's no two ways about it. Like to me, it was just like, if and the great mentors that I've had even have mentors themselves, right? So you definitely want to tap into the experience of a mentor. You don't want to reinvent the wheel. But Gordon, just to piggyback on something that you mentioned just now, just the opportunities to speak in Atlanta and Hollywood and all of that stuff. The thing that and you might and at the same time, you're talking about opportunities existing. At the same time, you and I have met people who are
Yes.
like, "Oh, I'm a speaker and I'm certified and I've got this designation and I can speak and all of that stuff." Why is it that they are just running around just talking about their speaking when these kind of opportunities exist and they're not getting it? Is because a lot of people and a lot of entrepreneurs, and especially new entrepreneurs. And when I say new entrepreneurs, you haven't generated your first 100K yet, through your business. Um, they're invisible,
Mhm.
and they're invisible at events. They're invisible on social media. They're invisible to the people that can provide these platforms for them, and they're trying to do things hiding behind technology, behind emails, behind getting certification. Listen, there's nothing wrong in getting certified, right? But the whole objective of getting certified is to become known using that certification. But a lot of entrepreneurs sometimes kind of, take a back route. And even when they do land up opportunities for speaking, they cop out of making bold offers and giving people an opportunity to work together. So what I want to do is I want to really transform. I mean, something that had come into my life as a blessing, this entire speaking platform came into my life and just turned my life around. This was the thing that changed everything. Kind of this was the launching pad to whatever else I was going to do. And this is why I'm so passionate about it. And listen, if you're in Toronto area or around, I know a couple of the people that I've spoken to are talking about flying into Toronto for the event. Get there, because not only you'll have an opportunity, I'll have an opportunity to meet you and have chats with you and speak to you, but also you're going to meet people like Gordon, and I can't wait for you to meet one of my mentors, Kula. Jay is going to be there. I mean, these people are not only like they're running multi-million dollar businesses, but they have resources, connections, and tools to be able to guide your journey.
Mhm.
And this is the reason why, and Gordon, you've heard me say this many times on live, is like get the VIP tickets so
Yeah.
that you can be visible to the right
Yes.
people,
Yeah.
right? So that you can put yourself in a position to be visible. Stop shying
Yes.
away and just blending in with the crowd. This is why there's so much opportunity and there's so many people with certifications and not much experience of getting on stages, all of that stuff, because you want to create opportunities for yourself at live events and on social media to be visible. Remember,
Yes.
best known beats best product.
Love
Are there
that.
better speakers out there? Are there people who are more learned in the speaking arena than me? Absolutely. Are there speakers that may be better than me? Sure. But without any experience, without any formal training, landing that first gig with my mentor and speaking on that stage and selling $250,000, it was not because I was the smartest one. It was not because I was the most trained. It was not because I had the most certifications. It was because I became visible to my mentor. And I stayed visible and I kept showing up and I kept in front of him, right? Remember, best known beats best product. And had
Yeah.
I not made myself known to that mentor, maybe I would not be here today in this form. So
Wow.
I look forward to seeing you on September 23rd. And Gordon, back to you.
I love that. Best known beats best products. I mean, why would anyone buy from you or hire you for speaking, right? If they don't know you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Um, and there's a gentleman who's going to be there in the VIP. You mentioned, your mentor, my mentor. This individual I mentioned invested in a young man's app before it even started. And today that app is valued at close to $1 billion. And I remember, Raza, a few years ago, I don't golf. I wish I golf. One thing I wish I would have learned, right? So I get invited to this golf tournament by JJ Canton, our co-founder here at Landed for Success. And not only did I meet the the young man that Kula invested in, I meet another investor. And you know what this guy does for a living? He makes
What's that?
black boxes for airplanes,
Oh, wow.
right? So now I have another Land for Success member, one of our authors in Europe. Who would like to speak in Europe, you guys? Right? And he said to me, Gordon, he says, right now we're working with a business where we're going to take plastic waste out of the ocean and we're going to turn it into fuel.
Wow.
Imagine, like, these are the types of opportunities when you show up, you just never know who you're going to meet, right? So I'm going to be connecting him to the gentleman that I just mentioned to you, who's taken another company to a billion valuation. But having said that, in the speaking world, it's the same thing, right?
Absolutely.
Who you
Absolutely.
hang around with is who you're most likely going to become. So I would love to maybe for you to finish off, sharing with us, because you said, I forgot how you said it, but showing up and showing up, so the person who's going to eventually mentor you is going to say, you're the person I want to invest my
Yeah.
time in, right? Because sometimes we get people that I probably annoy people. Sometimes we're actually annoying. And how do you stop being annoying but just show up so you're visible, where somebody once one day says, I see you investing in you. Remember I mentioned, I don't know
Yeah.
if I told you about Dr. Haley Patrick, who's going to be speaking alongside with you. She showed up event after event after event after event. And then one day she became one of our best speakers.
Yeah.
And she's now spoken in front of over 2 million people today.
Yeah. I'll give you an example, Gordon, even just our relationship and how we got
Yes.
here, right, at this point. I mean,
Yes.
until just a few months ago, you and I, we had crossed paths. We had
Yes.
crossed paths. I was doing my thing, you were doing your thing, and we keep crossing paths. We know of each other, we met for coffee a couple of times and all of that stuff. Well, back in April 2023, right? I had enough of my screen. I'm like, I need to get away from Zoom meetings. So
Yes.
I
We all
decided
do,
to
right?
go out. My wife was so funny. She like people like, usually when they want to get away, they go meet their friends, and hang out with friends. I go and meet strangers because I went to a networking event by Landed for Success. So I got there, and amongst the crowd, and Landed for Success had it's existed for a couple of years now, and they were doing events even during the pandemic online, all that stuff, and they were providing entrepreneurs an opportunity to thrive and rethink the way they do business, all of that stuff. And here I am, I showed up in this crowd of people, and not a lot of people know me. But remember, I said best known beats best product. Now, I knew that if there's opportunity over here, I have to become visible, right? So how do I become visible? So I started connecting with everybody there, right? Like I'm connecting with like, who are the change makers over here? Well, I met Jay. I'm like, Jay, I'm Raza, this and that and all that stuff. I met Gordon there. Gordon's like, hey, good to have you here and all that stuff. Gordon knew me. Kula was there. Kula was speaking on stage. I'm like, let me introduce myself to him. Kula had a mastermind opportunity. I'm like, what better way to become known to this gentleman than to be part of his mastermind, right? And even before he talked about the mastermind in front of the room, I just went to the back table. I signed up for his mastermind,
Yes.
right? I didn't know what the mastermind entails. Like I didn't know the details, give me the specifics and the bullet points and all of that stuff. I wanted what Gordon mentioned earlier, access. And the
Mm,
best way to get access to that gentleman who's running a multi-million dollar company, who deals with the banks and deals with Amazon,
yeah.
all that stuff, is I wanted to get into his company. And lo and behold, I was the first one. Even before he talked about it, I saw a sign back then. I'm like, you know what, let's do it.
Yes.
So
I remember that.
yeah, and then Kula hosted his mastermind. From hundreds of people that were there, there were only like what, 7, 8
Yeah.
people that were part of
Yes.
that mastermind. And I formed friendships and partnerships with people who are successful real estate agents, who are, who come from amazing careers. Sati, he's a captain of a ship, right?
Yeah.
It's like, whoa,
Yes.
right? And all of that stuff. So this is what got the ball moving. And then lo and behold, a month or so later, you and Jay started talking about this business expo. And we created, and this is how the opportunity, and you guys sat down with me, I sat down with you, and we talked about the opportunities like, okay, you know what? Yeah, I'd love to speak and I'd love to help your audience in this arena. And you guys invited me to be a keynote speaker at your event. So again, if you trace it back, where does this opportunity start? Did
Mhm.
I know in April 2023 that this was going to happen in September? No.
Wow.
Same way, I did not know when my buddy dragged me back in 2012, 2013. He dragged me to a 2.5 day seminar to have me learn how to use a book, my own book, as a marketing tool to expand my coaching business. I did not know that that was going to lead to a speaking opportunity, just at 10, 12 months from that time. I did not know that that was going to lead me to selling over $250,000 worth of stuff in one weekend, in my first weekend, 2.5 day workshop. I did not know that was going to lead to me traveling the world and going to Africa, going to Europe, going to the United States and Canada, speaking at all these stages. I did not know that I was going to end up sharing stages with the likes of T. Harbecker and Les Brown and speaking to audiences of thousands of people. I didn't know that. But all it was is putting myself in a position and making sure that I do my part in becoming known. And the rest just falls apart. Falls apart. That just falls into place then, right? So that's it. I mean, I think we've
I love
beaten
it.
the point over the head, and it's
Yeah.
really about becoming visible, and especially
Becoming
if you're
visible.
a new entrepreneur.
And just showing up, showing up, showing up, showing
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
And I do want to end with this note that once again, thank you for taking the time to be here because you showed up to our Landed for Success event. I know you mentioned to the audience that you showed up, but you showed up to like several events. And you guys know, for the folks who know Rasa, that you're already a huge success. You're already selling millions. You sold millions, but you came into that room. You didn't come in pounding your chest like some people do. You sat in the audience.
I did.
You didn't sit in the back of the room. Leaders sit in the front of the room. They're not hallway hitters, right? People that come, especially when they get free tickets, they're in the hallway. I have no idea why they're even there. I call them hallway hitters. You sat in the front row listening, like
Yeah,
sitting up at the edge of your seat, like as if you were interested, like giving the incredible vibe to the speaker, like making them feel like, man, I'm here. I'm
Yeah.
watching, I'm listening, I'm learning for that. That was you.
Yeah.
And I took note of that. Jay took note of that. And that's really what we're looking for, is people that truly want to show up and say, hey, I'm here. How can I serve? So I wanted to let you know that that's how much I appreciate you. And for the folks who are watching, look, we've heard this, right? We've heard this from other people. People don't care how much you know till they know how much you
Would you care?
care. Okay. So for our clients or our friends from Landed for Success that are watching, because for the folks who already know you, they already know how, like Napoleon Hill talks about, Raza, you go the extra mile. We saw Raza Cease go the extra mile, you guys. So I know if you come out on the 23rd, okay, grab your VIP ticket, not only will you learn, right? Like his teaching, he's going to give you that extra mile. I'm excited. So I didn't want to share that with the on here from, so folks know that this is one of the reasons why we're so excited about having you on the
Yeah.
23rd.
Yeah. And it's really about, doing and living the principles that we are talking about.
Yeah.
And once you guys get there, I mean, yeah, I have 45 minutes, 60-minute time slot to speak, but most of it is going to be when I sit down on the table with you and share stories of I sometimes call it, many of you have heard the story of how I met Robin Sharma while I was driving Uber. We'll talk about that. I mean, there's so much to tell and there's so much to share, so that you too realize that it's not too late to land up with your first six figures. I refer to new entrepreneurs who haven't landed their first six figures. Once you've landed your first six figures, you know that you've got this. Now it's time to put systems in place and get the right guidance around you to be able to scale your business to 100,000, to 200,000, 300,000, wherever you want to take it. Some of you may just want to keep it at 100, 150, and that's totally cool too.
Yes.
And you want to do it not by working 12 hours a day. You want to do it efficiently, right? You want to work 2-3 hours a day. And let me show you how speaking can make that happen for you, regardless of what profession you're in.
Absolutely. Not everyone wants to make millions, right? And I love the story you shared in part 2 of our training, because I know there's part 1 and part 2 and now part 3. So for the folks who are watching, please go to YouTube and watch like the first and the second training from Raza. I'm going to end with this. And if you have any final comments, we can do that. For the folks who don't want to make millions, I love the story where you shared last time, someone you taught how to speak. And in a 1-hour presentation, I think 30-minute, 1 hour, they made $3,000.
Yeah, I think I spoke about Sandra.
Yeah. So Sandra, who wants to be the next Sandra?
Yeah.
Like if you could just do one presentation a month, learn how to get that one presentation a month, and make $3,000 every month, could that help you?
It's sometimes, sometimes I hesitate in showcasing the simplicity of the business. It's that's what it is. It's simple. And I will break it down in the 5 steps that I'm going to talk about at the speaking, at the business expo. I'm going to break this entire business down into 5 steps for you, so that you can take that away and you can understand how simple the business is. And if you can continuously engage with the action steps that I'm going to give you, how it can transform your business within the next 4, 6, 12 months. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Gordon, I'll just pass it back to you and we'll just wrap this thing up.
Thank you so much, Mr. Aziz. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We look forward to seeing you on Saturday, September 23rd. Grab your VIP tickets, and we'll see you there for the luncheon. Take care.
Bye.